Greetings, my friends. I want to thank you all for subscribing. I want to thank all of my channel members for supporting me in this endeavor to save pop culture. And if you are not subscribed, please consider supporting this channel. We need you. Thank you. My friends, as Disney continues its downward death spiral, Iger is finally waking up to the reality of the dire situation at Disney. Things have never collapsed so utterly and so completely in such a short time, and the Disney board must be reeling at the astonishing string of failures that have pushed Iger to the point where he is actually having to take drastic steps to fix things. Case in point, the coup over at Lucasfilm. Iger's lieutenants have wrested control of all Lucasfilm operations from Kennedy, according to multiple sources, enforcing fiscal compliance to Disney budgetary guidelines, which means no more going vastly over budget with false starts, bad scripts, firing directors midstream, and endless reshoots. But enforcing fiscal responsibility wouldn't be such a big deal for such a vast organization as Disney, were it not for the fact that income is falling across so many of their business interests. Why is this, you may ask? It's hard to point to any one reason, but the fact of the matter is, Disney has been on a woke bender for years, huffing unicorn rainbow farts straight from aerosol cans provided by BlackRock and Vanguard, but now they're waking up in their mansion with broken IPs everywhere, theme parks that are getting emptier all the time, a failed Star Wars hotel that didn't have any Star Wars in it to start with, a failed Star Wars theme park based on a sequel trilogy that fans hated, a long string of box office flops that have tainted, possibly forever, the Marvel and Star Wars franchises, plummeting stock value, a Disney Plus series that was supposed to introduce a new chapter for the Marvel franchise that has bombed worse than She-Hulk, to the point where a lot of people aren't even aware the damn thing exists, and a live-action remake of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs without any dwarves and without any character fitting the description of Snow White. And everything is coated with rainbow-colored smears straight from a unicorn's ass. And let me tell you, the whole Mickey Mouse mansion is filled with a stench. Because rainbow farts may look like Skittles, but they sure don't smell like Skittles.
How far the mouse is falling, Doomcock. The bad news just seems to accrue on a daily basis. It's hard to even begin to stay on top of it.
And yet I do my best, Harvey Cthulhu. I want to make it clear. I do not take pleasure in the downfall of Disney, at least not sadistic pleasure. I find it gratifying because the only things that can force a corporation to change are pain and pressure. Now, if Disney was able to carry on with business as usual, we'd never get rid of their wokeness. We know now that wokeness is riddled through the Walt Disney Corporation like veins of black through marble. Their natural predilection is toward wokeness. It's second nature to them at this point. So absent catastrophic failure, such as we're seeing now, nothing would change. But now, all of these horrible things happening to Disney are like an intervention. Like a come-home-to-Jesus moment for the mouse, when they are forced to step away from their arrogance and their wokeness, face the error of their ways, realize that the wages of woke are broke, and make changes. Just like an alcoholic has to hit rock bottom to admit they have a problem and seek help, so too must the Disney Corporation hit rock bottom before they reform their attitude and get back to what they've traditionally done, wholesome family entertainment, free of political gaslighting and brainwashing.
But haven't they gone too far, Doomcock? The Disney brand has itself been deeply damaged in the eyes of the American public. It took decades for Walt Disney to establish his wholesome all-American brand. But Iger and the Disney board, in catering to a specific and comparatively small woke demographic, have alienated the majority of the American public, which now views Disney as nothing but a rainbow-colored rat in a perpetual pride parade down Main Street at Disneyland.
That perception will indeed be very hard to shed, O Skull of Calderon. You're right. It's not simply a matter of straightening up, hiring competent writers, and making great movies again free of divisive political statements. No, The stain of this woke bender is all over the Disney brand, and it will take a decade of constant washing, rinsing, and repeating to lift that stain, if it can be lifted at all. But let's look at the latest bad news for Disney stock and the Disney parks. Today, my friends, despite flopping up and down like a catfish gasping for air on a dock, the Disney stock dropped to $85.47 a share. It has hovered around the $85, $86 a share mark for weeks now, and it's starting to look like, with some fluctuations, this is the new norm for Disney stock. As you can see, the 52-week high for the stock was at $126.48 a share, so multiply that loss by 1.8 billion shares of Disney stock, and you can see this is a colossal decline in company value. There isn't just one reason for this drop, it's a conglomeration of causes. Obviously, the box office disaster of Indiana Jones and the Dial of Destiny didn't help, nor did their wretched Little Mermaid remake, nor did their wretched Pixar project Elemental, the failure of Ant-Man and the Wasp Quantumania, nor the coming absolute disaster of Snow Woke and the Seven They Thems, which ironically will be the biggest debacle of them all. Wall Street sees a train wreck coming, and the stock price is reflecting that. But what else is going wrong for them? The statistic, the Disney park attendance is down this summer, is no rumor, it's a fact. Many mainstream media articles, including the Wall Street Journal, have commented on this in their article, Disney World hasn't felt this empty in years. And CNN Business recently stated, this year, the parks face tough comparisons as demand levels begin to cool. UBS's Evidence Lab found that declines in foot traffic at Disney's U.S. parks are accelerating, falling 23% in Disney's third fiscal quarter through June 24th, a steep drop compared to the 5% reduction in the second quarter. While some of these MSM articles have tried to offer face-saving reasons for the decline, saying it's a hot summer, saying it's COVID, on, the fact of the matter is that just down the road, the Universal theme park with its Nintendo attraction is doing gangbuster business in the same hot summer with the same COVID fears. An article on InsideTheMagic.com titled, Disney World Left Empty as Park Attendance Crumbles, they write, quote, you would think that the summer would be constantly packed at Disney World, and you would mostly be right. However, quite a few days have been incredibly empty. Over the last weekend, the most magical place on Earth seemed to be super empty, with several photos revealing just how not crowded the parks were. The pictures linked below show both Magic Kingdom and Epcot looking particularly empty on a normal weekend in July, unquote. They then proceed to publish several tweets from Michael showing shockingly empty shots of Disney World with the caption, despite what Bob Iger wants us to believe, Walt Disney World is empty.
Holy shit! Look at that, dude! There's areas of Disney World so empty you could string up a net and play tennis and not hit anybody. It does seem to be rather devoid of what actual thriving businesses frequently refer to as customers. For those at Disney unfamiliar with this business term, look it up in your funk and wagnalls.
Indeed, gentlemen. These are rather stunning images documenting how far the mouse has fallen. Why is this so crushingly significant? It's because the theme parks are kind of the backbone of the Disney empire. Movie grosses may go up and down, but the theme parks were a perennial source of reliable income. Because what kid doesn't like to go out and have fun on rides and attractions? But for whatever reason, even the Disney parks are now failing. I believe it's because families feel alienated by the infusion of politics in Disney products and no longer trust Disney not to fuck up their hard-earned family vacation with sites like, well, like this, for example, outside the Bibbidi Bobbidi Boutique. But regardless of the reason, it's a fact that the disaffection with Disney has now bled into their core business, the theme parks. Well, I have even more on this, a stunning update on this from one of my most trusted sources who sent me this personal update on how bad things have gotten at the parks. Quote, "So last week, the attendance at Disney was at a record low for this time of the year. I first heard this from some old friends. I looked at this, and according to the Disney app, the waiting time on the average ride was 15 minutes. That's unbelievable. Me and some of my friends went to Disney Sunday. It was way too empty. Tickets would have cost us $50 each. With coupons, we all got in at $35 for Magic Kingdom and MGM. And of course, we had to hit Galaxy's Edge. It was dead. The excuse is the heat is keeping people away. Meanwhile, at Universal, they are on a record pace to have consecutive sellouts of the park itself." Unquote.
I guess the heat in question would be the disapproval of the customers who feel like Disney has left them behind and who feel more welcome at Universal these days. At least at Universal, you won't have a they, them, and drag outside a kid's store in Universal, making for uncomfortable discussions on your family vacation.
Yes, I'd wager most parents don't want their annual family vacation disrupted by discussions with children puzzled by why that they is in a them dress outside the store. Perhaps Disney will learn that one day, but until then, I suspect Disney will continue to spiral down. The damage may be too extensive to fix in anything like the near future, but I'm rooting for Disney to survive, because in this case, survival would mean that Disney has returned to Walt's original values, making good, solid, wholesome entertainment without the rainbow farts. From the center of the earth, this is Dictor Van Ducock bidding you all, my friends, stay angry.
Ha 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 ha.